Happy Friday, everybody. And not only just happy Friday, happy last day of March, happy last day of quarter one. I don't know where anybody watching this that's not part of UMortgage. I don't know how your guys' first quarter and March went, but I got to say, at UMortgage, we just set yet another record. Not just a record, but we blew through quarter four and we blew through the previous month of February's records. Just incredible growth. And the reason why is things that like this. I mean, we all share internally any knowledge we can. And it's not just myself and Andrew. It's dozens and dozens of big producers, and it's hundreds of newer producers that maybe only have a year or two or three under the belt. I find that I learn something constantly from even the new people. In fact, usually from the new people because they come with fresh set of ideas. So off today, and my co-host is always Andrew Cady. And take it away. Sorry, I kind of threw that off to you.
No, it's all good. Happy Friday. The quarter one numbers are just ridiculous. To go 100% growth over quarter four, it's ridiculous. And yes, market is still a tough market if you're in it. There's no easy way to say that. But growth happens when culture combines with positivity and energy and, an overall drive to just help consumers. And, end of month, end of quarter, it's a perfect time to kind of sit back and reflect and look at data, look at numbers. And that's basically been half of my morning. I'm working on a really complex file, but besides that, I'm kind of looking at my product mix. I'm looking at, just in the past quarter, because this is my first quarter with UMortgage, the growth we've had in just VA business and where we're going with that. And I love looking back at the numbers and seeing where our misses were, where our wins were, and how we can fix the misses and capitalize on the wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And VA is a big part of that. And it's funny when the people that know me really well from my originating career last year and earlier will be like, well, you're the guy that never really did VA. It's like, well, no, I took the VA clients in. I just handed them off somebody else to take care of because I had a very narrow bandwidth, with the type of volume I was doing working by myself. But VA loans, man, I mean, we have, and I'm not saying this because I work at UMortgage. I challenge anybody out there to look at our roster from the outside and say we have a weak bench for VA. I mean, our VA bench is unbelievable. I mean, Andrew, Jimmy Hobson, Nathan Eichhorn, Ashley, and I'm going to mess her name up, so I'm going to call her Ashley M because I always mess her name up. She did a presentation yesterday for us, Ariel Best and Rebecca Richardson, and I'm leaving so many out. Jay Boonty. I mean, I'm leaving so many out, but these are people that have dedicated their careers to helping veterans and understanding the product and just doing it at a high level. And we've got dozens of them. So we want to be known, honestly, we want to be known as the top VA expert place in the country at some point. So
correct. And we're never going to do all the deals, but the amount of people that even reach out to me from other lending organizations, with questions on VA. I mean, even underwriters. I've got one particular underwriter that will call me randomly and pick my brain from a different company on VA, be like, hey, am I thinking about this scenario correct? And for me, it was always dedication to our veterans. My father is a military veteran. And when I got into the business, I quickly got known as the VA guru. And that's just really where I built my niche. And to be right now in this market, being able to be super competitive on VA and being able to really drive that home is an amazing, amazing thing for me. I feel like I've found my groove again, and it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, and one of the keys is that I was talking about yesterday, and Ashley was, and you were also, Andrew, is with VA, it's that product more than any other product out there. I'd say probably the reverse mortgage product is one of them that's right there with VA. That requires constant education, not only from the loan officer learning more and more about it, but really the loan officer out there educating the public, the realtors, the buyers. It's not even so much the buyers. A lot of the buyers, they're vets. They kind of know the product a little bit, but they need help with it, of course. But really, it's educating realtors. And I love realtors. Me and Andrew both talk about how much we love our realtors, but the lack of understanding of the VA loan out there amongst realtors, especially realtors that specialize in listings, is mind-boggling because they see it as a no money down product and they kind of throw it in the bucket as a DPA, which is
They
a
do.
totally wrong way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about it yesterday on our sales huddle where the thing that will really grind my gears and a lot of people's gears is when we hear the phrase that VA buyers have no skin in the game. There is no, there's nothing that will drive me more angry quicker than that particular phrase. If anybody has physical skin in the game, it's people that literally signed a contract to sign their life over to serve our country. You want to talk about skin in the game? Many people that I've worked with, I worked with a quadriplegic veteran, 100% total and permanent disabled, lost all 4 of his limbs in combat. And you want to talk about skin in the game? Don't come at me and say that these veterans, they don't have any skin in the game because they're doing a 0 down payment loan. No, they've earned the right. They've earned the right to not have to pay a down payment on a home because of their dedication, their service to our country. To me, the whole education side of this puzzle is so missing right now. And there's great educators out there outside of our corporation. Michael Fisher, there's Vetted VA. There's great organizations that have also stepped up to the plate to help educate consumers, real estate agents, even veterans. I mean, how many times, like when my father called me, this would have been maybe 5 years ago, to do his home loan and was just going to do a 5% down conventional loan. And I asked him, I was like, well, why don't we look at a VA loan? He said, I don't think I served enough time to be eligible for VA. So I hopped into the VA portal, pulled a certificate of eligibility. He ended up being able to purchase about $200,000 more of a home and have no down payment, and absolute dream amazing process. Got him locked in back in those days at like a 3.75, and he's set up for success. And he didn't even know he had the eligibility. He's bought so many homes over his life and always saved up for the down payment or struggled to get the down payment. And this whole thing's just been waiting in the wind for him the whole time.
Yeah, and that's true. I've run across those myself. They just don't know any better. But again, the whole skin in the game thing, I have to touch on that again because it literally pisses me off. Because if I go out tomorrow and buy a $700,000 house and I put $350,000 down out of my bank account, I've got less skin in the game than a lot of these VA buyers do. Because they're right. Not only do they have skin in the game, a lot of them have physical, actual skin and limbs and body parts over in Afghanistan and Iraq and who knows where else. I mean, if that's not skin in the game, nothing is. That's the term skin in the game is made for them.
I agree.
And one of the things I touched on yesterday, that if you're a realtor watching this, or if you're a loan officer, tell your realtors this. I've been traveling a lot lately, and if any of you guys have traveled recently, you'll remember that when doesn't matter what airline, Delta, United, Southwest, yuck, I don't like Southwest, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what airline. When they start boarding, first class gets boarded third. The first thing that gets boarded is people that need extra time, elderly, people with young children. And then the very next group that they always announce is, if you're current or former military, please board now. Just show your pass. And then they board first class and all the other classes, right? And my statement to realtors now, and loan officers, you should tell this to realtors. How would you feel if you were at the airport and they made an announcement and said, if you're a current if you're a current vet, or if you're a current military, active military, or if you're a vet, please stand aside because you have to board last? How would you guys feel about that? You'd be like, what the hell are they doing? Why would they make these poor people, why are they boarding last? Why are they getting disrespected? Listing agents, when you push that VA offer to the bottom of the pile because they don't have any, quote, skin in the game, or you think that there's fees the seller's got to pay that are not right, or you think that the appraisals are more difficult, you've just done that. You've pushed a vet that has served this country to the end of the line, purely based on falsehoods and bad advice and bad education.
And purely based upon making sure you get your commission, which is a really horrible thing to do. And let's talk VA appraisals for a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, before I even go there, let's just touch on the topic that the highest median FICO score of any loan product is a VA loan. The highest. That beats jumbo loans. That beats every single program out there. The VA has the highest median. They also typically have more assets in their bank account than the average borrower. So you actually tend to have a much more qualified person than the average transaction you're going to get. But let's talk VA appraisals. Yes, we're going to look for things that would be a safety and a health concern. But those are the same type of things that are going to show up on other loan types as well. Mm-hmm. But the VA is the only loan program out there that gives you two opportunities to rebut a low appraisal. You have a low appraisal happen on your conventional. Good luck with your reconsideration of value. Yeah, we can push it through. We can do what we can do, but there's no guarantee on anything. But with a VA loan, you're going to get notice 48 hours ahead of time that appraisal is going to come in low. And that gives you, the real estate agent, to work with the seller's agent and begin to build out comps to help the appraiser find value. So you actually get to help them do their job. And if it would still come in under value and we feel like there's an egregious fault in that appraisal, we have the ability to circumvent the appraiser, go directly to the reconsideration of value, go directly to the VA, and have the VA come back with their opinion of value on the property outside of the appraiser. Name me any other loan product that has that. So you want to talk about VA appraisals and VA loans. They're easily one of the fastest, easiest, and most cost-effective transactions we do. And the appraisal process is substantially better. I know I don't have the stats here, but I know at my previous company, VA appraisals came in lower than purchase price value, substantially less times than the average loan. And we actually had the metrics because my previous company owned their own AMC, and we can look at all this data on it. And we came to the conclusion that VA loans actually hit value more than any other loan program out there.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, any realtor or any loan officer that's watching this that has been in the business over, since 2009, I think it was May of 2009 when the HBCC ruling went into effect that created the AMCs that, for FHA and conventional loans we have to use, where we have zero control over the appraisals. VA is the one product that didn't have to go into that. And we don't deal with AMCs on VA loans. It's like the old days. I mean, the appraiser gets the contract, he goes out there, he goes to appraise it, he starts doing his work, and he sees that he can't get value. He does the thing called Tidewater, and you're getting a notice and say, hey, this $400,000 purchase, I'm seeing it at $385. And it gives you the opportunity. Like Andrew said, there's two different opportunities. That's the first one. And that's like old school appraising. So anybody that's been in the business for over 14 years, I guess that is now, VA is old school. And that's, everybody complains about the new AMC system. Well, do more VA loans. You don't have to deal with AMCs.
Yeah. And, another topic, since we're just kind of rolling the VA train this, Red Friday, another topic that I think is just something needs to be talked about is there's a lot of loan officers, very much like reverse mortgages, that are scared of the VA program. They don't understand it. They feel like they're going to mess it up. If that is you, there are amazing outfits out there that can teach you the VA loan program, teach you all the caveats to it. And it's worth the money times 100. Go out, find one of these. I'll throw out, Michael Fisher's group, Vetted VA. There's different outfits out there that are not tied to a specific lender, and their entire focus is to get out there and just educate on VA loans. And if you want to become an expert in it, pay the few $100s, pay the $1,000, whatever that cost is, and become educated on the program. Because the more that we get people out there advocating for the use of VA loans, the more predominant the loan program is going to be, and the less we're going to get pushback from real estate agents and sellers. I mean, frankly, I hold as a badge of honor my only time I've ever been reported to the Department of Financial Regulation. And I hold it as a badge of honor. And it's because we submitted, my client, along with the real estate agent, submitted a VA offer on a property, and the listing agent fired back an email within 1 minute and said, the seller has chosen not to accept VA offers on this property. The listing agent followed me on Facebook, so I posted on Facebook. I did not post the property, the brokerage, or the agent, but she knew I was talking about her. And I said, if you're a real estate agent and you refuse to accept a VA offer on a property, find a new job. And that was my only report I've ever had to the Department of Financial Regulation. And I wear it as a badge of honor because I'll stand up for our vets any day of the week. If you, the real estate agent, are making that choice for your seller, yeah, you mean to tell me that in that 1 minute response time, she presented that offer to the seller and the seller responded and said, no, I won't accept it, had time to review it in 1 minute? If you're a real estate agent, you're rejecting an offer simply because it's VA, not even presenting it to your seller, find a new job. And I'll stand by that every single day of the week.
No, absolutely. I mean, the only time that should ever happen is if they know it's really a fixer-upper that's not going to qualify for much financing at all, and if it doesn't qualify VA, it's probably not going to qualify conventional or FHA, either one. So, mark it as a cash-only offer, accept it because you have a property that's basically needs gutted, but on 99% of the homes out there listed, it's going to qualify VA. So,
and this property wasn't one of those properties. This was a 2-year-old, beautiful, amazing waterfront property, and we offered $40,000 over list price, and it ended up selling for $30,000 under list price. Lots of convoluted stuff behind it, but at the end of the day, get out there and support our veterans. They're the ones that have risked their lives to do something amazing for this country. And man, you want to get my blood boiling, say that they have no skin in the game. It's just not going to work for me.
Yeah, I'd love to see the realtors out there that reject VA offers immediately. I'd love to look at their Facebook pages and scroll back, and around September 11th every year, see that they probably make these wonderful, loving posts about to sacrifice our men and women, yet they'll turn around and not take a VA offer. I guarantee you there's a ton of them out there doing that, so.
100%. And we talked about it briefly yesterday during our sales huddle. Working with veteran buyers, if you're a loan officer watching this, working with veteran buyers is one of the most amazing experiences you're going to have. Their job of what they do while they're in service is a lot of receiving orders and following orders. They receive a command, they follow the command. And when you can present them with, hey, here's what we have for you, here's the list of documents we need, I can tell you 9 times out of 10, you're going to get back every single document, every single page in the order in which you requested it in a timely fashion. And if you're a loan officer, you know that is not normal in this industry. I mean, how many times are we arguing over the blank bank statement page because they can't seem to understand it or they don't know what a W-2 is? We have an entire subset of home buyers out there that are eligible for zero down. They're wildly underserved. The utilization of VA loans in this country is way lower than it should be. Typically, and I know there's no typical, but typically you're going to have a better interest rate than a conventional loan. Typically, you're going to have less fees on it.
Yeah.
And you have no monthly PMI. Yes, you have your funding fee, but with a 5% down payment, that cuts it by what, almost 2/3? Like there's all sorts of ways that we can work to structure these loans to use it as a benefit to those that have served.
Yeah. And the no PMI thing's huge. If you're putting little down to no down, I mean, that can be a savings of literally a couple $100 a month. And on top of the fact that the rate's lower, and you're talking a VA loan could be as much as $300, maybe $400 less a month. And one of the things that came up this week that we didn't talk about in the huddle, but it came up with one of our originators, Ariel and Rebecca down in North Carolina, was they have a loan that they did for a veteran that is 100% tax. They don't have any. They don't have to pay property taxes because of their disability from the VA. So also originators always look for that. I mean, that's something to look for because now most lenders will now look at that and realize that they are tax exempt because of their disability from their time in the service. And that can give you, in some cases, especially in states where property taxes are higher, that could give you $100,000 to $300,000 more buying power for a VA
Agreed.
loan.
Yeah, and if you need help on that, it's different per state. But I just helped someone within the company here yesterday on it. Underwriter was kind of pushing back and said, "Send me the county regulation that shows this." And I just sent back the Florida state law. Like, this is a law in the state of Florida. Here's the law that says if you are 100% total and permanent disabled veteran, you have no property taxes in the state. And that covers every county, every scenario. And you're dead right. So, if you're talking, if you figure $60 a month, or let's call it 50 for easy math, $50 a month equates to about $10,000 of purchasing power. So if you're talking property taxes of $600 a month, okay, so you may realistically get on $600 a month. What is that? That is what is that? $60,000 times two, $120,000 higher purchase price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then you couple the fact that there's no PMI on it. Compare that against the conventional loan. Yes, they're still going to be exempt from property taxes, but if their PMI is $200 a month, well, you just got 40,000 additional pre-approval amount. So this buyer that was going to go conventional and not working with a loan officer that understands that they're exempt from their property taxes, may be approved for $300,000, or they could be maybe approved for $460,000 using a VA loan, using a lender that understands how to work the system to get them exempt from their property taxes if they have the 100% total and permanent disability. That's a game changer. $300,000 to $460,000 is a monster.
Yeah. And coupled with the fact that VA allows for much higher debt to income ratios in most cases.
It does. It really does, especially if the residual is strong. And as cheesy as it sounds, and as probably the last resort you want to use that as a presentation, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent, would you rather sell a $300,000 home or a $450,000 home? Yeah. Are you interested in earning an additional 40% in commission? That shouldn't be your deciding factor by any means. But if push comes to shove and it gets the veteran the home, let's do it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case in most cases, though. So yeah, it's just a great loan. I'll switch gears here. We've kind of talked about VA now for the first 22 minutes, but it's such an important subject. I wanted today's broadcast to be heavily about VA because yesterday kind of struck a chord. We were talking about it, and just it's the time for this, and it's so important. But other than that, going back to just the massive growth we've had here at UMortgage lately, I mean, one thing I want to stress to everybody is, tomorrow is one of my favorite days of the month, and or of the year. There's 4 of them every year. Tomorrow is a new month and a new quarter, and there's nothing to me personally more motivating than seeing a big zero. New month, we got 0 loans closed. New month, new quarter, we got 0 loans closed. Find your motivation out there. Go out there and get some VA loans. But more importantly, find your motivation on why we do this. Use that. I mean, I always use that. I'd say, man, new month, new quarter. It's the motivating factor. We're all starting the race from the same start line now. It's not halfway through where the big producer's way ahead and the small producer's way behind. Starting tomorrow, we're all at 0. So, go out there and use that as your drive. Use that as your motivation that, you want to see how fast you can get something on the board starting tomorrow. So you're not sitting at a goose egg. And I don't know if you've ever done that, Andrew, but that's always been like my big motivator. The new quarter every 4 times a year. It's a big deal to me.
Yeah, there's nothing more fun than resetting back to 0. Like if you saw the background on my screen, my background is the top producers chart from the week that I joined the company, and my name's at the bottom. I love zeros because it just fuels my fire. And, you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it from a negative standpoint and say, everything looks horrible. I haven't closed anything. Or you can be like, guess what? Everybody just got reset to 0. Every single person within my company has the same 86,200 seconds a day. Every single person. The one great equalizer is time. We all have the exact amount of hours, minutes, and seconds in a day. So what are you going to do with yours that's going to put you on pace with those that are correctly utilizing every second of the day? And so are you gonna sit while you have lunch on YouTube? Are you gonna sit while oh, I don't have a meeting for another hour. You're gonna watch one more episode of Billions? Or you're gonna use that opportunity to build out Canva templates. You're gonna use that opportunity to create workflows, to look back at your reports, to see why this one particular loan took 23 days to close when the rest took 12. Are you gonna use your time to actually streamline your business? You're gonna use your time and waste it, because time's the great equalizer, and I love resetting to zero because of that. Every single person tomorrow morning at 12:01 a.m. is in the exact same boat, and how I utilize every second of every day matters that much more.
Yeah. The only thing that the month of March and the first quarter means after midnight tonight is just the metric to beat. I mean, other than looking back and seeing how much we can beat the previous month or previous quarter, none of it matters. It's in the past, and so many people look back in the past. I mean, I can look back and say, oh, I had a great 2021 was my biggest, or 2020 was my biggest year, whatever. Who cares? It's done. It's you can't go back unless you can find that DeLorean that they used in Back to the Future. You're not going back there, so use those past successes as the driver of your future success. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow it's a new day, a new month, a new quarter. It's like a great painter starting with a blank canvas. What are you going to create starting tomorrow?
Yeah, what got you there isn't going to get you to where you need to go. If you're just looking back at the trophies you won in March of 2020, there's a reason I don't have those displayed. I've got a big box in my closet just chock full of them. Top producer units, top producer value, month over month for 26 months in a row. None of that matters, because none of those months are today. None of those months are what I'm working on right now. And so for me, I don't need to sit back and look at what was. I need to look at where I'm going. Only thing I look at March after tomorrow for is to see how I can improve on it.
Yeah, you're right. I've got a few of the pieces of glass behind me, but if I turn my camera around, you'd see shelves with, I don't know, probably 30 different hunks of glass on them. And my wife puts them in there every time one comes in. And you know what they are? They're sort of a distraction, especially because they collect dust. And then on May Day, I'm trying to work, and the maids are in here clanking glass around. It's like, I should box them all up and put them in the garage, because they do nothing for me today, other than
exactly what I did. I looked at them for so long, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. Threw them all in a box. A couple of them probably broke. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because I'm not in March of 2020. That was the month I did 60 some units. I'm not in that month anymore. That's not my current month.
I'm more impressed with the thank you cards that you can't really see them. The thank you cards, and then the group picture back there. Those are more important than any of the hunks of metal or the glass, because those are actual handwritten thank you notes from people that were important in my career. And the group photo is, again, about the relationships that I built with a lot of other originators when we went on a trip together. And those things matter. The hunks of glass really don't. So anything else to add before I wrap this up?
No, I think it covers it. Don't be scared of VA. Hit up people that are good in the industry. The thing about a lot of the people that are really dedicated in VA is we're open books. You don't have to work for our same company to get advice from me on how to structure a VA loan. You need 10 minutes of my time. And I would say that across the board. If you pick the phone up and you call Michael Fisher, if you call Jay Bunty, if you called Ariel Best, they're going to help. Why? Because we're helping a veteran at the end. Yeah, we're helping our competitor earn some commission. No, we're helping a veteran. That's what we're doing. Yep. And so we're all about it. Don't be scared of the VA loan. Get out there and own it.
That is so true. I've never met somebody that's a VA expert that didn't want to help others. So in closing, I'm going to give you guys a few call to actions, and these are really important, guys and gals. Again, tomorrow's a blank slate. New month, new quarter, new day, new week. Get out there. First of all, remind everybody, get a hold of all your realtor partners today. let them all know that you're available over the weekend for pre-quals or whatever they need. We work when you work. That's my big push with all my agents. So call of action one is get out there and make sure your agent, this is a weekly thing, get out there and make sure they all know that you're available over the weekend for anything they might need. Call of action number two is if you're not doing a lot of VA, start looking at it. Pay attention. Call one of these experts we talked about. If you don't know a VA expert, call me or Andrew or meet us on Facebook. We'll connect you. Or Andrew will talk to you about VA. I'll connect you to some of the others, But seriously, that's the call to action, guys and gals. Go out there, get some VA business, educate people on it. Let your realtors know you're available this weekend, and just be ready. It's a new quarter, new month, new week, new day. Go after it. Let's make it happen. And in closing, answer your damn phones.
Peace out, guys.
See you guys next week.